Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Sharice, and my goal here is to help you experience as much joy and peace as possible. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I recalibrated to motherhood after a separation with my son. This is him here. Oh my God, he's so cute. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. This is probably 2 years after we were separated. And then I have another picture here that I wanted to show you all of the year we reconnected. I think this was the year he was again living with me full time. So before I tell you how we reconnected, how we healed, repaired our relationship, got closer, I just wanted to give you a little backstory on what kind of mother I am and what caused the separation in the first place. So it's no secret on my channel that I got pregnant when I was 17, a shock to a lot of people. I don't think anybody is shocked at the way my life is now or that I'm a really great mother. But at the time, getting pregnant at 17 definitely was not planned. I wouldn't say derailed me in any way, right? But added a bump in the road on my process of getting to my goals. I have a lot of support. I think it's super important to have a community. Listen, this is not things I thought about beforehand. Like, I think I knew it was important to have people help you when you're having a child, and I had seen it, right? I come from a very collectivistic culture in my tiny island of St. Croix. But the level of help that I got, I don't even know if it's I want to say it's typical. I don't know. So when I tell you, my parents were already divorced at that time, but when I told my mother I was pregnant, it was just, okay, let's get you to the doctor, the appointments. Here's what the plan is going to be. So less judgment or criticizing and more love and support. My son's father's family threw a baby shower for me, and they bought everything, basically everything. My son's father was also invested in having a child. I'm the kind of person who always knew I wanted to have children. So it's like this was happening earlier, but there was no way I was going to, there was no way I was going to escape my 20s and not have a child. I think that would have been impossible, even if I wasn't in a serious relationship. I don't know. Even if I wasn't married, I don't think I would have become 30 and not have a child. So it came early, but I always wanted to have kids. So I was, nervous but excited for the fact that my son was going to be born. And from the very beginning, even before he was born, I just had so much support. Part of why me getting pregnant at 17 was a shock is because I was basically a goody two-shoes, straight A student. My future was very, very bright. Like, sky's the limit, past the stars and the moon, my potential, right? And I'm really proud to say I've reached my potential, but a lot of people, I think, when they reach hiccups or challenges in life, might get stuck. That didn't really happen for me, right? Again, lots of support. So I stayed home with my son during the day. I spent my 12th grade year as a freshman in college, right? So really, really bright. I changed after the first year, right? I had him after my first year of college. I changed my schedule so that I could be with him during the day and go to take my classes at night. Lots of students were taking night classes, so there were lots of options. And as he got a little bit older, I would do an hour here, hour there, half day with someone else watching him during the day, and then eventually daycare. And so like his year before kindergarten, I had him in, I think that whole year he was like basically full-time in preschool. So, not preschool, because I don't want to say I don't believe in preschool. He was there for the socialization, not so much the learning, because I wanted him to learn from me, right? Moms are your first teachers. I'm very invested in motherhood and being a good mom. So all the things he needed for kindergarten, he learned from me, but I also wanted him to be socialized as he got older, right? So when I came to school, didn't miss a beat, continued with my classes. As he got older, I've just been active on campus and had a really good time, right? I had one semester of being wild and crazy, if you can imagine me being wild. I wasn't even that wild and crazy, but just, going out a lot to parties, drinking, doing that kind of stuff, getting drunk for the first time, all those things. And so I feel like I was able to have fun as a young person and not feel held back. And so when grad school time came, because at 16, right, so before I had my son, before I got pregnant, I knew I wanted to be a psychologist. before all of that happened, I already had this big grand goal of I'm gonna get my doctorate. That wasn't gonna stop. So the first time I applied, I have a whole other video about applying to grad school for the first time, not getting into any. So I ended up doing a master's at home, and then when I applied the second time to go to grad school to get my doctorate, I was accepted. And so I moved. This is where the separation comes in. I moved from St. Croix to Miami. And my son was 5. He was in kindergarten, and he was in kindergarten. I saw him off to kindergarten. I want to say I saw him off to kindergarten, and then I left like the year. Wow, the time is escaping me. 2013. I think maybe I was there for kindergarten. Listen, around age 5, I left. And the goal was to bring him up the second year I was there, right? So to do our whole first year, get settled, and then to bring him up the second year. The whole first year I was there, I didn't have a car, and I didn't get a car until the second year. But even after that, Miami's expensive. And even at that time, Miami was pricey. My car note wasn't that bad with the car insurance, because there's always a bunch of accidents in Miami. And I wasn't working full time. I come from a 2-income middle class household. The idea of hustling wasn't really in me. So it didn't really occur to me to work full time when I was getting my degree. My goal was to be a full-time student, and so that's what I did. I ended up working like as a student employee on campus, but that's not real money. That's not real money. And I had thoughts about, like, he would go to school. There was a campus, a elementary school, like really close to my university, like walking distance, like you could see it from there. And so I had these ideas, but the money wasn't money in. So the delay started happening. And I was going home often, right? Every school break, every summer, I was there the whole time. I was home, but over time, the distance was created because he's so young. I got him an iPad so that we could FaceTime and all of that, but it's not quite the same as a mom being there to tuck you in every night, or to give you your meal, or to, just have this downtime when we're just hanging out on the day-to-day. So even though I was there a lot, the separation began. So I made the difficult decision to leave him with my mom and invest in really doing well in grad school. After I finished all my coursework and, was thinking about bringing him up, then it was, I don't want to bring him up to Miami. And then I moved for my internship because I wasn't planning to stay in Florida for my internship. So I decided to bring him up full time with me for my internship. Mind you, he was coming up to the States. Like, after I got my car, he was spending summers with me. We were doing holidays together, all that stuff. But like I said before, it's really the day-to-day that kids really want for that consistency and continuity. So by the time we get to traveling to Ohio is where I did my internship, right? I made stops along the way to see my sisters, and he was having emotional attachment difficulties, right? Like when we visited my sister, she has dogs, and he was like really sad to be leaving the dogs. And so that was like a metaphor, or, just a symptom of the distance that he was feeling with me but couldn't articulate. Because at this point, he's 9 and starting, fourth grade? Fifth grade, maybe. 5th, 6th. Because then when we moved to Atlanta, he did 7th and 8th grade in the middle school here, and then transitioned to high school. So that first year of us being together was difficult. It really was difficult. I think trust had to be rebuilt. I had to not lower my expectations, but temper them, because I was not having that day-to-day influence into who he was. And in my mind, he was going to be the way I wanted him to be. And so kids can feel that, even though you didn't say it. There were certain things I said that put pressure on him to feel like he was being criticized or judged by me. And that just led to, frustration, him not wanting to do what I said, that kind of thing. So my internship was really difficult, very time consuming. I don't know if it was hard, but it challenged me in an emotional way. I really learned to be confident as a psychologist. I had to really practice my time management. I've had this issue with procrastination before. I had to learn to let people fight their own battles in a way. Like I viewed myself as an advocate and I wanted to stand up for, people and nonsense. And I basically had to just let things play out, which was difficult and frustrating for me. But I learned a lot, right? I'm really grateful for my internship experience, but it was difficult. And we also had like an issue with a babysitter. There was just some things happening in between during my internship year that were difficult. And so after that period of time, we ended up seeing a family therapist. And then I really said to myself, like, I was already thinking about the not wanting to move until he was settled, right? Wanted to time moves so that they would be optimal. So I wanted to spend 2 years in Ohio so that he could then do middle school here in Atlanta because his dad lives here. And my sister used to live here, but she, blah, blah, blah. So it was an experience. We learned a lot in family therapy, and I realized that there were some significant changes I needed to make in, my expectations of him, my communication of rules, and how I showed general care. So I made those changes, and then I made the decision to not get a rigorous job after I finished my internship, all right? So I think I was still finishing my dissertation, because I didn't finish that until my internship was 2017 to 2018. I finished my dissertation at the end of 2018. So that was already part of my focus. I'm gonna finish my dissertation. I'm going to focus on being a mom. So this is where the recalibration, I think, took off. I was already part of my mind. We already had the family therapy. I wanna be a mom that's non-judgmental, that my child can tell me anything. And so I just wanted to reduce stressors and focus on being a mom. So I had what I call pretend jobs. Nothing to take home, nothing that consumed my time. If I leave at 5, it's done. And I can be there, after he finishes with his aftercare. I can be there to drop him off in the morning and not feel rushed to get to work. Like it was just a sublime time and a necessary time for me to be able to have the time to prepare meals, right? To not have to feel like I'm rushing to come. I just wanted to be a mom. I just wanted to be completely emotionally, mentally there. And for that year, I really did. And our relationship improved. And we had like really, really sweet moments. I instituted bedtime we read so many books over bedtime, but having the time and the ease, more freedom, just made it that in his off times from school, I could be there, and I didn't have to worry about getting work done. I didn't have to worry about anything except, how could we spend this time together or not, right? Because maybe he has a show he wants to watch or, a game he wants to play, but the option is there. Like I'm physically and emotionally present to be able to support. Life changing, I think, for us. I don't have any regrets about spending that year just being a mom. So by the time we moved to Atlanta and he's starting the middle school here, it's good. It's good. I think one of the things he learned more about gratitude in middle school. Was it middle school or high school? I was instilling some gratitude in him because I think when you live a certain lifestyle, and for me, I wasn't making much of any money, right? I made $16,000 on my internship, but I had a lot of support. The government helps you, but I had like a lot of emotional, financial support from family. I don't think any part of our life looked like struggle to my son. And so having a mom who loves you, cares about you, is willing to do some things differently to optimize your learning, your emotional health, like all those things, I think you can take it for granted. You can like not realize that everyone doesn't have this. And so after he started school here, every year he learned a little bit more about how great of a mom I am, right? And so now he's 16 years old, OMG, 16 years old, and fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I'm thinking of doing another video idea on how I get my son to do whatever I say. Not 100%, right? But how since then, the recalibration period, we have what I would consider to be an extremely strong, loving, respectful relationship, like mother-son relationship. I'm excited about the man that he's going to be, and like, I like him as a human. I think he's really interesting, really decent, very disciplined. Maybe not very disciplined. He's definitely disciplined, very disciplined for some things that he's very interested in. But he's like all around a really great human being. Like, whatever woman he partners with is going to be blessed. Whatever job he gets or career that he picks, he's going to do it well. I think he's going to be able to face life challenges with like grits and tenacity. Like, I just think he is an all-around really good human being, wonderful young man. I'm so grateful and thankful that I got to guide this soul through life. We're closer and closer to him being more and more independent. Our next step is him driving. Pitter patter my heart. But he's great. He's really, really great. And I don't like to make any illusion as if I did this all on my own. Like, literally, we enlisted professional help to help us through this process. But throughout the whole time of me being a mom, I've always had a mom that I can go to, someone that I can turn to for support, for guidance, for advice, for feedback, like real, honest feedback, not brutal, but honest, kind, compassionate, helpful. Oh my gosh, helpful, because my mother is amazing. She's like one of the best mothers. And I'm grateful for that. I really, really am. Throughout the process, his father's side of the family has always been there, always wanted to maintain communication. So my son just has a bunch of grandparents, which I never had. I mean, my parents came from somewhere, but I didn't know my grandparents. And just the family community aspect of the support that I receive, the support that he receives, has made it such that, my time to recalibrate, I could have a time to recalibrate and not really focus on working a whole bunch or making a lot of money, because I had help. I really had help throughout this whole process of motherhood. I think the younger a child is, the more help you need. As they get older, they get more independent, they can take care of themselves. Today he made his own breakfast, asked me if he wanted, if I wanted something. No, thank you. But he's just so sweet. And, I have so much to offer in terms of parenting and understanding, being a Black mom, being an unmarried mother, and, what it's been like dating during that process. What it's been like with organization, having a boy, all those things. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with someone you think it may help, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and thank you for watching.